Well, we had some pretty talented and willful Frenchmen making the food. And so it was really hard to sort of suck the decadence out of it and like convey that our process means that I have to eat like all day long. They wanted it to taste really good and reflect the French cuisine, you know, and I was like, you're
like less cream.
I'm gonna die. Like I'm not supposed to actually perish. No, the eating's cool because it's like, it's nice to have obstacles, like kind of hurdles that you don't think about when you're running lines. Like me and Woody have a lot to say to each other. And I never ran lines while eating. And then when I got to set, I was like, I can't even talk around all the food. It's like, yeah, you know, it's a metaphor. It's very symbolic. She's a voracious, bottomless pit.
Eating her feelings.
Yeah. Not acknowledging much, just sort of eating about it.
I was really curious what you both discussed with Quentin before going into the production process. What did he explain to you about, I guess, the allegorical factors behind the film?
Did he tell us about that?
He didn't explain himself at all.
No, didn't get the explanation. No. I would have liked to got that explanation.
Yeah. We're just actors, you know. We don't really.
Yeah, we don't know. They say, you're going to stand here, you're going to say this. What do we know?
I mean, the script is like so. It's like so precise and it's so obvious. Like, we're driving around a riot in Paris and we're talking about donuts or something. I'm like eating a donut. It couldn't be more on the nose, which I think his stuff is broad, but then has this like underlying sardonic tenderness. He's crazy. Sometimes movies are fucking crazy. Yeah.
I think he's got an extraordinary sense of humor, but he also just has a way of shooting things that just heightens or magnifies the experience for you. You know, I don't think since I saw Ruben Austin for the first time, I hadn't really seen anyone who, whoa, this guy is his own master. And, whoa, okay. Speaking of, you know, he must be right outside. But he really, like, he is a true maestro, and I think his vision is extraordinary. I never seen, and you know, if you don't like the film, there's only one guy to blame. He's the writer, the director, the cinematographer, the editor. But he's
like
great.
Those guys that walk down the street wearing every instrument, like those buskers that are like. Yeah.
I met her when she was about 17. Like she had just worked with Sean Penn, and he was raving about her, and then I saw the movie, and she was great in that. And then, and then we hung out. We were talking about doing a film together. This was years ago, but it didn't pan out.
Yeah,
but
it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
It was love at first sight, and White Men Can't Jump. You know, I was just a little guy going, God, he's fucking cool. No, but he took me to like a vegan spot in the valley, and we totally broed down, and then never got to make the movie. And so when this popped up, I was like, I wanted to work with this guy forever.
Well, I wanted to work with her forever.
Except,
and I still,
your forever is a little different to mine.
My forever really is like a long. Yeah, that's true. Well, I felt like when we first hung out, remember, over l'Opera. Mm-hmm. And we hung out and we ran it and stuff, and I was like, oh man, I was already just feeling like, you know, I just feel like we both have our own issues that kind of helped us, probably.
It's pretty natural. I mean, like, our characters are like friction filled, but you don't fight with people you don't care about. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're obviously from like different generations, but there's so much overlap. Like we really, like we could have gone to kindergarten together and been like really good friends, but instead we have like different experiences. And so sometimes like I feel very comfortable like yelling at Woody. There were times we'd play games, like we played charades, and I found myself being like, no, like curse. I was like screaming at him.
She's yelling. Okay,
and I suddenly went, wait, you must be pretty comfy with him because that's an insane thing to do to someone that you're working with. But no, the whole movie's like, it's like people who want to get closer and are just kind of speaking slightly different languages. And so like bridging that gap from an outsider's perspective just seems impossible. And the frustration of wanting to close the space between each other is like desperate, but it doesn't work. It's like, it's very father-daughter stuff. It's like the love is kind of unconditional, but at the same time, like we could probably have a cat fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's well put. That's well put. Yeah, I feel like, there was like there was 7, because there was 6A, 6B, so there was like 7 different bellies, gradations. And they had it all plotted out, and it just kept growing. And she kept eating and drinking, and I just kept. I really did feel drunk and very full by the end.
He's pretty specific. I never felt like I had like a leash on or anything like that, but it's he moves really quick because he's impatient in the best way. Like if he's not having fun, we're moving on. Like it's like it's like everything is about stimulation. So it's like if anything slows down, and I'm sometimes kind of a slow think. Like I'll really like approach a moment, and he's like, cut. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, we better go. Like we better consolidate our thought process. He's just like totally explorative, but knows exactly what he wants.
Yeah.
And doesn't mince words. It's great. He's like, no, yes. I'm like, okay, I love yes. I really hate no. So you try to avoid no. I only puked once.
You actually puked?
Yeah, it was when they had like filled this cauliflower mash with like butter, and they were like, there's no butter. It's all vegetable oil. And I was like, vegetable oil? And because he's vegan, and I was like, you can smell the butter.
I could smell the butter.
Yeah.
I mean, it was thoroughly
buttered.
But I'm surprised. I mean, it was amazing because the takes go on for quite a while.
It's like theater.
So she's really having to ingest, not like a spit
I was
bucket.
like, where's the bucket? There's no time for the bucket.
And eating. Now, if it would have been me, if I'd have had her part, for example, you'd have been a fine father for me. But
I could be your daddy.
Yeah, you could. But I'd have a spit bucket. I wouldn't care. I'd just be like, okay, and then hopefully they're going to cut away before that.
Yeah.
But
I did a bit of that in the restaurant. I started getting a little bit more brazen, a little bit more like self-preserved. Yeah.
So,
and then coming back from a spit and trying to like be back in the conversation that's like actually quite serious. I'm like, oh yeah, what? Yeah, I'm writing 2 movies right now. And I'm going to go shoot this Amazon show called The Challenger. I have some balls, and they're all in the air, and I think I can hold them all, and I want to make 2 movies basically by the end of May next year. I want to be figuring out what festivals they're going to. And they're really different.
Wow.
They're really cool. I want to make an exploitation film, and I want to make it for nothing, and I want to distribute it myself. Yeah, like I want to make something teeny tiny and let it trickle into the next and just not be a part of a system that doesn't behoove me. And so I think we have to start with something like Buck. That's satisfying and sweet and totally good for the world, Yeah.
I actually did a show that's coming out in September called Brothers, Matthew McConaughey. And the next thing
brothers.
I'm doing is something Jason Bateman's directing. It's called Cackling of the Dildos.
No.
Dodos.
Oh,
dildos.
You should change the title
It's
immediately.
actually better.
Change it.
Cackling of the Dildos.
Change it.
Anyway, Sam Rockwell.
You're welcome, Reitman.
Yeah. We made
Bateman.
this Lateman.
Lateman. I think we ate too much. I think we just had lunch and we're full.
Tell me about where the idea and inspiration came from. I know you've talked in the past about inspiration coming from dreams sometimes.
Yeah, it's always the same. It's like I'm trying to catch, unconscious ideas, which is basically like going to a shrink. I let myself go and write stuff, but then when I collect the best ideas, then the work starts. I try to make this into something interesting for the audience. So, but it's this works for every movie I make. Like it's always like that. I never start with a pitch or a concept or whatever. I start with random unconscious ideas, and then I try to turn this into a script.
So, where in your subconscious, unconscious, do you think this came from? This idea of this symbiotic father-daughter.
I have a daughter, so obviously, yeah. But she's 11, and we have a good relationship. She's a bit, like she's quite someone. She's a bit like aggressive and
Feisty.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
good. But it's nothing like the movie. It's not like that. But I guess it's almost like a nightmare version of what I'm living with my daughter, which is like I'm living a dream with my family and my daughter. But I guess I've been inspired by, since I have a daughter, it seems obvious that I may be talking about me and my daughter. Plus, I'm getting fat, so I think so. So we had a chef, a really good chef, to make the best food for her. So she's been involved in the process. So because we didn't want her to get sick, of course. So she was involved in choosing the right elements to make the food look good and taste good. So she was eating nice food, and it was such a big subject when we started, like, because I was scared, like I was, it was embarrassing to tell her on every shot, you're not eating enough. Like, can you eat more? And she's starting doing it. But what's funny is, like, after a few days, I realized that even between the takes, she was eating. We without really knowing it. Like, we were like talking. I was like, well, you should maybe do this, do that, and she was like keeping, on eating. No, I know. I respect her a lot because this was a big subject. Well, I mean, I was scared for her, because it's a lot of food. Plus, what you've seen on the movie is like 5% of what she ate, because we did several takes, like you can imagine. So she ate a lot. And I'm not trying to say anything, but all these images are real. Like, yes, Paris is a nightmare sometimes, and I was just making fun of American visiting Paris. My version of it, like, because what you see in Emily in Paris, for example, is not real. They forget about this, what I'm shooting in. I mean, I don't want to say too much, but so no, there's no message. It's just like I'm making fun of humanity. I met Woody first, and it was like a perfect match. And he was so nice, and he just discovered a few movies I did, and he was so into it, but like, like for real. He was talking about like the way my movie were cut and stuff, and so it was a dream for me to meet Woody like that, because we had some wine and it was very simple. It was not a business meeting. It was like a meeting an artist, and so we basically fell in love with each other. Then I was like, hey, let's, Woody was perfect for this. And then we had to find his daughter, and Kristen came very quickly, and I have to say she almost saved the movie, because someone else was supposed to do it. I don't want to say who, we don't care. So we got everything prepared. We built the set, this huge set, because it's not a real hotel room. It's a set in a flat in Paris. So we started everything, but someone was supposed to play Kristen's role, and she left the project, and Kristen just said yes like that. She fell in love with it. So yes, she saved the movie, and what a dream! Like she matches perfectly Woody. Like the difference. I mean, there's something obvious when you see them together. They work as family instantly, which is not always the case. When you build a cast like that in a rush, like, oh, we have to replace someone. Sometimes it's dangerous. But when I saw Kristen next to Woody, I was like, obvious. They look like family already.
Tell me about the film within the film. Obviously, in the second act, you did film within the film kind of feeling. This reminded me of the creature from the Black Lagoon,
Yeah, of course.
which I loved.
Yeah, it was one of the references. Yes.
Yeah.
It's this is to show what's in her mind, like, you know, like because she's always arguing with her dad, and I wanted to show her heart a little bit. Like, she loves watching this because she feels like a baby when she watch. You know, that's what I wanted to show. Like, because otherwise, the movie would be just two people arguing, and showing what she loves, showing that this movie is exciting to her, gives us some clues of, it's like knowing her a little more. Usually usually this type of scenes are like a little embarrassing to shoot because it's a zone. Like, playing drunk is a zone. You have it or you don't. Woody, just like, he was like on off, like he knew how to do it like this. He's brilliant as a drunk guy. Yeah. Plus, he's getting fat and stuff. Like, yeah, he impressed me on this for sure. There's no CGI. It's all not latex, but silicone, I think, made by great artists, Olivier and Guillaume. A lot of work, a lot of drawings, a lot of tests.
Fantastic.
Yes, it's good. I have an animation movie playing here in 4 days.
Amazing.
And then I have another big French project and another bigger American project.